Hey, what's up my friends? Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Victor, and today I'm going to do a full moon energy update, energy forecast, however you want to look at it, it's fine. I'm going to talk about the full moon energies and how it might be playing out in your life. With any full moon, you can expect a little bit of emotional sensitivity, maybe some irritability, life moving very fast, it's kind of intense and whatnot. That's like a given. I'm not going to dive into that. A lot of you guys are aware of that. I'm going to get into a bit more of the specifics. I have just an unbelievably positive feeling about this full moon. And you guys who watch me know I'm not afraid to kind of tell you the dark stuff. I oftentimes explore that quite deeply. But this is not one of those times. This is a very positive, just an incredible, big, beautiful wave that I feel like that we have been blasted with. And I think it's going to allow you to experience the fruits of your awakening consciousness on a very real and tangible level that you will really come to, and you will really come to appreciate the progress you've made. Number one, I think a lot of us will have the realization of just how illusory in nature our autopilot type of fearful reactions to things are. It'll be seen as like almost like comical. I'll just give you an example. It's happened to me twice today. One time I was walking by the bathroom, my wife was in there. I didn't see her for like a few minutes, and I had the immediate thought, maybe she like slit her wrists, or it was like it was a thought. It was like a quick little thing, not a very clear thought, but I'll try to express it. I had the idea that maybe she like slit her wrists or like her carotid artery or something and committed suicide. She's not suicidal. She's happy. We're good. But that was the instinct. That was just what popped in my head as I walked by the bathroom for no reason. There was one other one, man. What was it? Just as ridiculous. I don't know, but there was something else that was some sort of like immediate like really, Vic, this happened, and that's the crazy, insane, outlandish conclusion you just immediately jumped to? But for the longest time, those types of things, what I described to you wasn't so much, again, it wasn't very clear. It was more just like a feeling of, oh no, it was okay, for no reason. I was walking by the bathroom. And I was able to see like, that's so ludicrous to react that way. That makes no sense, dude. So it's because the awakening is just getting so out of hand in a sense. We're seeing things so clearly. For a while, those initial reactions become kind of known. For the longest time, they were completely unknown. We would have those, we would not really realize that that's how we're reacting to those types of situations. Just everyday situations, we react with a paranoid, delusional sort of fearful scenarios. For whatever reason, whether you want to blame the news, the media, or just the crazy history that human beings have had, I don't know. I don't claim to know. But regardless, is that's there. That's a reality. And oftentimes that's a response. And when it's so unconscious and like murky water, like those initial responses tend to infiltrate our thinking and our behavior and our decisions. And unknowingly we go around walking and acting out of fear. And for a time you start to kind of confront that, like, and you get these intense emotions and these like, wow, these racy, crazy thoughts. And you're like, whoa, I don't like this. This is too much. This is like, I feel like I'm losing my mind. It's like, no. That was always there. But now you're just starting to see them, starting to feel them more deeply, more truthfully. And for a time you feel like, wow, I'm regressing. I'm way neurotic. It's like you've always been that way. Now you just are aware of it. But beyond that, it doesn't stop there. Beyond that is the clarity, the space, the obviousness between, the discernment between you and that. And no longer is it so all-consuming. It's, that's pretty nutty. I was like, almost laughed to myself having that thought. I wouldn't dream of rushing into the bathroom to see if she's okay, because that's insane. So you might find yourself noticing yourself wide awake. Number two, and this is always a fun one that I bet you can all relate to, big synchronicities. most of you, me included, I get synchronicities all freaking day. A lot of times I just ignore it. I don't think much of it. But sometimes I get like a rounding the corner, ending of a chapter, starting a new big life theme, wrapping up sort of synchronicities. Mine personally is I always hear the song randomly. I don't just put it on, obviously. The song November Rain by Guns N' Roses. Guns N' Roses, if you guys are watching, it's like my favorite band. I have like 7 shirts of theirs. But that song will just pop on, like, and it'll be like any other synchronicity. It kind of like catches my attention, not because only it's a song, but it just like, I always like, it always catches my attention. It always happens at very key moments. It happened when I met my soulmate, my wife. It was the first time I drove her home. We are like, I won't get into this, but it's not a necessary backstory for the purpose of this. But anyway, it was the first time I drove her home, and we were like in the car, and I was like feeling the magic, you know. And then like once she got out of the car, the second she shut the door, doom doom, that song just busted out. Another time that comes to mind is, as I mentioned in many of my videos, there was a very scary time for me when I let go of my gym. My gym was like my livelihood, my business, and I got guided to let it go blindly. And I know that sounds crazy, but eventually I was so compelled, I finally did it. And I would oscillate between periods of faith and hope and connection and complete like despair and freaking out, that kind of thing. But anyway, it was like I had just gone up there, and it was like, as I was closing it, there was probably a period of a week or two where I was selling my gym equipment on Craigslist and whatnot. And it was like the very last time, it was like when I finally closed the doors, it was like I met the last person to take the last piece of equipment. I kind of gave it one more like sweep down or whatever to turn in my lease and whatnot. And I locked the door. I didn't lock the door. I left the key there, and you know, it was done. I was done. I was walking away for the last time ever. I got into my car, and guess what comes on? Out of all songs, I didn't have the CD playing, and that's why it came on. It was just a freaking radio. It's a song that's played decently, but it's not like, it's a longer song, so it's not always played, that song. I would hear it once in a while, and instantly, the second I shut the car, turn the key on, dun dun, bust into it. I had that same thing today, man. I was sitting there with my notebook, driving in my car to go to the gym, and I was like brainstorming all these different ideas for stuff I'm gonna do in relation to this. You guys will all be aware of it as I go forth. Just I felt so like in the flow, like wow, just such a big opening, and then boom, the live version busts out my wife's Pandora radio. She doesn't even. Me and my daughter, we are such Guns N' Roses psycho, just nuts, that we listen to that like nonstop. My daughter more so than me. So my wife is like sick of it. I don't know what caused her, possessed her to put it on the Pandora radio. She never would do that. She's like totally, it's overplayed to her. And she just happened to do that. The song happened to be that at the right timing. So anyway, that's kind of my translation. That's kind of how I get a lot of my input. I relate my personal experience, and oftentimes, I don't know what it is, but it just happens to be sort of current with the energies. That's why I do these updates. So anyway, that tells me that there's a big thing go, big wave, big stuff, big turning points, big beginnings, big endings maybe. It's a good time, man. So I wish you well with that. Number 3 is the sense of progress. And I know immediately some of you are thinking, in fact, I wrote a little note to touch on this. Some of you are thinking like, dude, my life is so nuts right now. I don't have any sense of progress. I'm not saying that you have to, sense of progress is relative. Maybe a lot of you just recently took a first step, but you'll feel like proud of that, which you should. It doesn't matter where you start. It really doesn't. If you look at like the top dogs, like the most influential, successful, people that are idolized and whatnot, they oftentimes don't start with a lot going for them. A lot of them start like way at the very bottom. It does not really matter where you're starting, only where you're going. You just got to be determined. And a lot of us have been getting that not only the determination, but just sort of like the foresight, the connection, the awareness to leave, kind of like make room, and all of a sudden there's a path. It feels like your path. And it might just be that first step on that path, but you'll feel like it takes a lot of work to discover that path. It took me like, I don't know, freaking 7-8 years of my nutty awakening before I realized where I found my, what I would call a path. So anyway, the sense of progress. And also, the acceptance that it's a journey. For the longest time, I was waiting for it all to be over, waiting for it to be done, waiting to stop suffering, waiting for some sort of completion I had in my mind in the future. But that's not what I actually wanted. What I really wanted was a peace of mind and happiness. And that doesn't come from, I made it. And then it's like, now what? You're an eternal soul. What are you gonna do? You do something else, and then you'll be waiting again. That completion only lasts a brief few moments. So, but what is more lasting, more deeper, is the acceptance that you're on this long journey. And there'll be highs and lows, periods of feeling where you really made it somewhere, and then there's the lulls where you learn. But regardless, we're all a work in progress. We're all moving forward, and I think you'll all be able to accept that truly better, at least for this short little awesome full moon window. And I know I have been, because I'm not anywhere near where I want to be, but I've come a long way. And I've had the same feeling, this sense of accomplishment at many junctures of my life. And it's always I'm always very happy to have it. It always feels very nice, and it's very welcome. That's the word I was looking for. It's very welcome, because sometimes we don't learn necessarily fast as possible when we feel so elated all the time. So that's why we allow ourselves to be challenged and pushed and nudged and slapped around a little bit by the world, only so we can continue to grow. But there are those times, again, the sensing of, I'm getting somewhere. I'm proud of myself. I'm kind of excited to where I'm going, and no, I got a lot of work to do, but it should be fun work. Some of it anyway. And lastly, even more ideas, deeper connection. I spoke about June being like a time of ideas, a time of psychic sort of impressions and connections and realizations that you're not alone, literally. But that can sometimes go away. It can kind of wane. And again, we came here to be our own people and to come into our own empowerment. So having a constant reminder that this is all just a divine game, that's not necessarily conducive to us really growing and challenging ourselves here in this earth school. But just as there is night, there is day. And this seems like the sun is shining very brightly. And we've already done a lot of work this month, and it's not even been that long. And so you might find yourself feeling just more connected than ever. Amazing ideas. Just more ideas, more clarity, more the feeling of like you're really going somewhere, you're really getting somewhere this time. With all that said, obviously, it's not going to always be roses. It's like I was having this kind of day today, and then something happened, and it was like it threw me off for a brief period. But because of that discernment I spoke of in like number one, I was like, nope. I did not allow it to taint my day, and I think we're going to have a lot more of that spiritual power. The more awareness of who we are versus the conditioned responses that tend to drive us bananas, and we can start saying, you know what, no. I've been listening to this freaking record long enough, and maybe I can't bust out the speakers with a hammer like I'd like to, but I'm not going to listen. I'm going to tune that out and start marching to the beat of my own drum. Have an amazing day, folks. I will speak to you soon. Namaste.